Hello everyone, it's Glenda and welcome back to my channel, Creative Grandma. I hope everyone is having a happy crochet or knitting day. Well, today was supposed to be the day that I posted my peppermint striped Christmas blanket. But when I took my mom to the doctor's yesterday, they wanted to see her back today. So I spent today in the doctor's office again. So Cody was nice enough, he worked all night long to get these crochet samples done. So today will be a yarn swatch video. And if nothing happens tonight, then hopefully tomorrow you will get the peppermint striped Christmas blanket. That tutorial will be coming out. So sorry it's been delayed. This month has just been a terrible month for doctor's appointments. But Cody, thank goodness Cody is helping me with the yarn swatches. And he decided to do the Mandala impression yarn first because it was a thicker yarn and he could work up those samples faster. But first, before we begin, Cody wants to give a couple shout outs to some people who give us some amazing super thanks. So we want to thank them. So Cody, go ahead.
Yeah. The people, I've already responded to their comments and gave them a good, thank you message, but got to do it justice and shout it out in the video. Anytime that I scroll through the comments and see a tip, super thanks, I call it a tip, but it's a huge surprise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very rare. Not a lot of people do stuff like that. I'm going to try to pronounce it. It's a YouTube name. I'm going to try to pronounce it the best I can. It was Deborah, but it's Deborah Hinnenkamp 2226.
And Deborah, Cody will be yarn shopping with your super thanks. He's really excited to do that.
Yeah, continue watching the video because I'm going to talk about a yarn that I want in this video. But she hooked us up big time.
Yeah.
$100 super thanks. That's crazy. And then we had another awesome dono come in from Cindy Terry 347. She hooked us up with a very generous super thanks as well. And
several super thanks from Cindy
Oh,
Terry.
yes,
so
definitely.
Thank you, Cindy.
Multiple.
But we want to make this a happy channel. We like to keep it happy. We want you to come here and enjoy the show, so to speak. We want you to get inspired with yarn. And this yarn, I am just amazed at now, since you worked up the samples, my favorite has changed. And that happens sometimes. You'll see a yarn and you like it, and then when you see it worked up, you see a different one you like more. So let's get started and let's tell them first about the yarn, and then you can show them the yarn swatches. And you worked up almost the entire cake of yarn on almost all these samples. And we did do a wash and dry test, and we'll give you those results at the end of the video.
I put a lot of time into these samples. You saw the video yesterday of the unboxing, but we filmed that the previous day, so it actually took me 2 days to do these samples, 2 evenings. I worked deep into the night. Each one of these samples took me probably 4 hours a piece, and I want to show you the first one. Let me show you the yarn first, and we'll go over this yarn again. It's Lion Brand Mandala Impressions, and let me give you the information. It's a 5.3 ounce skein, 150 grams, 164 yards, 150 meters. Machine wash, gentle, tumble dry. It's a 5 bulky weight yarn, and it's 100% acrylic. And this first one is tie-dye. Look at that. This is my favorite. I mentioned that there was a yarn I wanted to buy. It's this one, because look how awesome this looks worked up.
Yeah, that is pretty. It looks tie-dyed. Very vibrant colors.
Yes, this is gonna make a beautiful baby blanket. Let me give you another angle here.
Are you making a baby blanket or are you making a full-size blanket?
I feel like a baby blanket or a child blanket would be more appropriate. I don't know if a full-size adult blanket.
Well, because it's a thicker yarn, I think it should be more for an older child than a baby.
A child-size blanket or a kid blanket would look nice. The stitch pattern for this sample was the V-stitch, and I got it off of Hooked by Robin's channel. I watched her video for this V-stitch, so thank you, Robin. There it is one more time.
So let me put my glasses on. I'm going to show you the next sample. It was made with the color Sandalwood. And I really fell in love with this brown. I really thought that was pretty. Now, what stitch did you use for this one, Cody?
Oh,
is this looks like a double crochet and a single crochet?
It's not a good sample. I was just messing. I was trying to choose stitches that weren't real wide open and dainty looking, So it's a single crochet, half double, single crochet, double crochet, single crochet. So it just kept alternating through those 3 stitches. And the ends are horrible. I screwed up the ends so bad. It goes like, I don't even know what I did, but I mean, if you hold it up like that, it still looks pretty good. But yeah, I mean, my ends look really goofy. I was like adding extra stitches. It's wider at the top than it is at the bottom. But for the sake of a sample to show you what the yarn looks like, I think that this is sufficient. So this is not a tutorial stitch. It was just me trying to slam something out.
Now, me personally, I think this would look better if it was a longer, you know, it's just that size where it maybe for a sweater, you would get that look.
Yeah.
But if you had a longer, if you had a wider chain and you was doing a blanket, it would be, I think it would have a whole different look where you would see the colors going clear across the row. It would almost be like self-striping, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, I made these samples pretty big because it was a big yarn, but
yeah,
I couldn't go much longer than that for the sake of the samples. Okay, and the next one, let me show you the yarn first.
That's the rainbow.
Yes, this is the color Rainbow. I'm a fan of this one. I like the colors.
Yeah, I didn't know why it was called rainbow because I was thinking of
it's
like
not
the colors of the rainbow, but it looks more rainbow after you work it up.
Yeah, I mean, it's colorful, but it's not rainbow colors. But
yeah.
So for this yarn swatch, I used the Crunch Stitch of the Week number 90. You can go check out that video tutorial if you want to learn how to do this stitch. It's very simple and it has a really good look to it. Hopefully you're seeing the stitch definition. I know it's kind of difficult, but
that's the one thing I did notice with this yarn. It kind of looked like no matter what stitch pattern you used, you're not seeing the stitch definition. You're seeing the colors more than you're seeing the stitch definition.
Yes. Like in person, depending on how you hold it, you can see the stitch definition, but on camera, it might not translate very well.
So I'm looking at this sample and I'm thinking that would make a beautiful scarf.
Yeah, it has kind of a boxy look.
And you have to remember when you're seeing these samples, they can have so many different looks. And that's an idea for a future video to take. We'll do that in the future. We'll take a skein of yarn and we're going to work it up in like a narrow version to maybe a scarf, a longer version for a blanket, do different stitch patterns. And that would be a great video to really show how different a yarn can look depending on what you're making, what stitch pattern, and it really does matter.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Now see, I can also see this yarn being used for maybe a tote bag, like if you like to make your own crocheted bags for carrying your projects, all kinds of things, even maybe a basket, but I think I would double it if I wanted to make a basket. Even though it's a thick yarn, I think for a basket, I would double the yarn for a basket.
Yeah, I mean, it's thick, but it's not that thick.
Now, the next sample Cody made was made out of the sunset color. This is the sunset color. And I thought this was pretty because it just had that little bit of touch of yellow in there. Hopefully you can see that little bit of yellow with the darker pink, the lighter pink, that mint green. It just, to me, had a Victorian look, and I really liked it when he worked it up. Now, what stitch pattern did you use on this?
This is just plain Jane half double crochet.
So you can see the yellow, you can see the light pink, dark pink, green, and there, Cody will get that up there for you.
I've always been a fan. I prefer the half double crochet over the double crochet. I think the half double crochet just has a nice look to it.
I thought that was a pretty one. And again, this is one I think would look really beautiful in a blanket because you would get shorter color burst, and that all makes a difference.
Yes.
And you have to remember, if you're a knitter, this is going to look totally different if it's knit too. But I thought that was pretty.
Yep.
And the last sample was the one that surprised me the most because I didn't like this when I seen it in the cake. And now since you worked it up, to me, it's almost patriotic looking.
Yeah, it does kind of give me that vibe.
This was Woodstock. Now, I didn't think I would like that. It's more like an orangish red, I don't even know how to describe the colors. But then when Cody showed me the sample, I said, oh my goodness, is that the one I didn't like? I really fell in love with it. Go ahead and hold it up and tell them what stitch you used.
Yeah, I like this. I like this sample now that I see it worked up. Look at that. And I used the No Fuss stitch. I forgot to write down the number, but stitch of the week, the No Fuss stitch. Very similar to a moss stitch.
Yeah.
Yes. It's heavy. It's thick feeling, and it has some pretty nice stitch definition.
I can see the stitch definition better in this sample.
Yes.
And this is the sample that we done the wash and dry test. So let us know in the comments section which one of these 5 colorways, after you've seen them worked up, did you like best? Now, if you have used this yarn, let everyone know what you think, because that way you're getting more than just our opinion. And when people read over the comments, they can see the good versus the bad, and they can see everything, and that helps make them make a better informed decision if they want to try this yarn.
And for the results of the wash and dry test, I filmed a clip showing it before, but I feel like there's no point in even putting that clip in here. I'll just tell you the results of the wash and dry test. The color is exactly the same. Didn't fade. It's exactly the same. It didn't stretch and it didn't shrink. It just looks a little bit fuzzier. Do you know what I mean?
It has a little bit more fuzziness, halo to it.
Yes, it has. It's not severe, but just a little bit. It looks like it's been washed.
So I don't know if you can see. Let me hold it up this way.
Yeah, it's got a little fuzz.
Up on top, you can see
yeah,
just a little bit, but not bad. I mean, I couldn't even see it until I really looked, until you told me.
Yeah.
Now, how did you wash this? What washing instructions did you use? And what was the measurements before you washed it, and what was the measurement after?
It was 21 by 10, and it was 21 by 10 when I was finished. So I washed it on delicate, which is gentle, and then I dried it on no heat. And then I was impatient, so I turned it up to low heat, and it didn't shrink or anything. So.
And what temperature was your water?
I used warm water.
Warm water. So that is the results. I think you did a good job. I am happy with the wash and dry test. Because I told him, I said, make sure you measure it before you throw it in a washer and dryer, because I always like to know if it shrinks. Some yarns can get real fuzzy.
Yeah.
And this one didn't do too bad. I would be happy with this yarn in a blanket.
Me too. And
I know you want to make a blanket out of the tie-dyed.
Yes, definitely.
And I can't believe that this is starting to be my favorite now. This one that...
You know, I thought that too. I mean, they all look good, honestly. All of them. Every one of them.
So thank you everybody for stopping by today. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure you give us a like. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of the crochet fun here on Creative Grandma's channel. So until next time, stay inspired and happy crocheting. Bye.